the rape of my soul, the rape of my soul. No one will hang for the rape of my soul, and no one weeps for me. No one will hang for the rape of my soul. No man shall swing from a tree. No one will dangle for the bastards I bore, and no one weeps for me. No man shall fight for my honor restored, and no voice shouts, travesty! No lily shall demand a drop of blood be spilled to avenge a slave's virginity, to revenge the stain of shame on me. No one will weep for the rape of my soul. Sweet death, come and set me free. For no one will swing for a spirit despoiled, and no one weeps for me. No one will hang for the rape of my soul, the rape of my soul, the rape of my soul. No one will hang for the rape of my soul, and no one weeps for me. All I ever wanted to be was a singer. It was in my blood from the day I was born. I dreamed of being a Broadway baby, singing down the avenue, an opera diva. Perhaps a soul songstress. I guess you wonder where I've been. I searched to find love within. I came back to let you know. Got a thing for you, and I can't let it go. And eventually, a jazz junkie. The evening breeze embraced the trees tenderly. The trembling trees embraced the breeze tenderly. See, music was my addiction, and I was hooked. I sang everywhere, and I could sing everything. Music, music, music was everything to me. My home was filled with music and God, and so was I. My parents promised me a piano. Ooh, but I really wanted to play the guitar. I had ambition, I had enthusiasm, and I had faith in myself. It was my holy trinity. Now, life wasn't a bed of roses. However, I had so many big plans, and I learned how to get over things, and I learned how to let it go and move on, and I was happy for a change. Self-employed, college educated, credit score of 780, financially stable, and amicably divorced from the greatest men in the whole wide world. I like accountants. with 4 beautiful children, or what some people call dogs. I was happily woman, happily independent, happily female, happily black, happily happy. And life was beautiful for a change. Life was peaceful for a change. Okay. Life was boring as everlasting hell. But that was better than drama. It was better than gossip. And it was better than side chicken for some loser. And fortunately for me, forgiveness came easy too. I had forgiven everyone who had ever hurt me. And child, let me tell you, it was a long list. But I made short work of not only forgiving, but forgetting. See, it's par for the course when you're black and you own a vagina. I got over the kids who bullied me in school. They said stuff like, "We think you too smart." Or they said, "Girl, you talk too white." I even got over the friend who once said to me, "You know, I love black people. I think everyone should own a few." And I got over that favorite teacher who for no inexplicable reason told me someday I needed to suck his Magic Johnson to get my grades. I got over it because I really had no choice. You see, getting over it meant surviving, and I am a survivor. And that's all I thought life should be about, surviving and thriving and rising above it and taking the high road. And child, I could take the high road like nobody else. Forgiveness came easy. The first person I ever had to forgive was my father. He died on Good Friday, only 42 years old. Everybody called him King. He died of a gunshot wound to the head and the chest. That's always a chance when you beat your wife, and his wife was my mother. They had been married for 25 years. I'm the 6th of their 8 kids. Love them all. Don't like none of them. Just kidding. Or am I? My mother, she was magic. Intelligent, elegant, eloquent, stylish, witty, nimble, and God-fearing. She made a beautiful homestead for my family. She held down the job too. I got the singing bug from her. And with my father, he was handsome, charming, clever. My daddy had a smile that could open more doors than a master key ever could. Made good money as a longshoreman and as a self-trained chef and other things. He kept a gun in his pocket and he kept several women on the side. And that made trouble in the marriage. He spent most of his free time sucking the life out of my mother's dreams, out of her tomorrows, out of her future. And so my mother lost her softness, lost her tenderness, and her magic started to wane. But still, he was my father, my capeless hero, until he beat her. It was like no one noticed how he abused her. They looked the other way, especially family. I remember how he pummeled her the day she walked through the door, knocking her glasses to the floor. King! King! Why would you hit me like this? What's the matter with you? For God's sake, why? 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 She was defenseless, and he was silent and relentless. Blood decorated her pretty face and her white Easter blouse. I was just 12 years old, and I witnessed the unimaginable between two people who vowed to love, honor, and cherish each other till death do us part. The years of taking it and getting over it and moving on and letting it go had taken their toll. It wasn't the first time he laid hands on her, but it would be the last. It happened so fast. She pointed and looked away. Papa! And my daddy fell to the floor like a heavy Louisiana rain. And I ran like I was on fire to get help. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Mama shot Daddy. Mama shot Daddy. Mama shot Daddy. But it was too late. I stood over him. Blood gushed from his head and his nose over his smooth black lips, collecting under his body like thick red jello. A pint of black velvet was still in his back pocket. I loved my daddy, and I wanted to help him. I wanted to touch him. I wanted to kiss his jolly cheeks. All I could do was pray. All I could do was get on my knees and pray. Don't die, Daddy. Don't die, Daddy. Don't die, Daddy. Please don't die. I'll be a good girl. I'm gonna be a good girl. Just don't die, Daddy. But he was dying. And soon he was dead. And our lovely homestead became a crime scene. The brutality of his attack developed on my mother's person like a fanned Polaroid picture in the coming days and weeks, on her spirit and soul over the coming years. She had to plan his homegoing. She dressed him all in white, and so were we. My mind took a snapshot of the stitches that held his eyelids together from the bullet wounds. I was only 12 years old. I looked at my mother. She never shed a tear until they closed his shiny silver casket. I remember she laid her arms across it, and she whispered, "I love you. I still love you, and I will always love you." She never recovered. The autopsy confirmed his addiction to heroin, Valium, alcohol, cocaine, prescription medications, and other vices. No charges were filed, and the district attorney ruled it justifiable homicide. And I watched my mother do her best to survive. I was only 12 years old. And all I could do was pray and pray. And I sang for my father for the very last time. Oh, lift him up, lift him up, till he sings from eternity. And if I be lifted up from the earth, I'll draw men I prayed and I prayed and I prayed and I prayed that God would somehow deliver us from all of this evil. But all I had was questions that no one could answer. All I had was questions. What made God put the stars in the sky? And what made God paint them blue? How does God fill the oceans with water? How does He raise the moon? And where does God go to live in the summer? Does He laugh? Does He cry? And what does God ask to get Christmas morning? Does He make airplanes fly? Life's a mystery. The future none can see. But the older you grow, you'll soon come to know the answers that you seek. So what made God send the snow and the winter? Why do good people die? And where is God when a baby is crying? Does He warm the sun? Life's a mystery, the future none can see. You ask what made God, I don't know. Life's a mystery, the future none can see. But the older you grow, you'll soon come to know the answers that you seek. So what made God send the snow in the winter? And why do good people die? And where is God when a baby is crying? Does He make airplanes fly? Life's a mystery, the future none can see. You ask what made God, I don't know. Ooh, I don't know. Ooh, what made God? What made God? What made God? What made The second person I had to forgive was my mother. Well, she took a man after King died and moved him into our home fast, and I caught his eye faster. He smoked, he drank, he stank, and he belittled everybody. My brothers and my sisters figured out a way to curry his favor, but me, I didn't want nothing to do with him. And that made me a target. You see, these little gals, you need to keep an eye on them before they come up pregnant. Nasty little bitches. How you expect a man to control himself when they're walking around here half naked, wearing lipstick, looking like ready-made hoes? I hated this man with a passion. Who could blame me? One night, smelling like the gutters of Bourbon Street, and whatever that stench was he brought back from the jungles of Vietnam, I woke up with his breath in my face and his lips on my neck. And I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. I couldn't move. I couldn't scream. And I couldn't fight. All I could do was say, no, no, no. I held my legs together so tight, he would have needed a crane to pull them apart. My body was defiant, so much so that he slipped back into the darkness as I lay there paralyzed in fear. I couldn't tell my mama, but I had to tell somebody. So I started whispering this little secret. I didn't know what to do other than, he came in my room one night. What did he do? I can't tell you what he did, but he did something. Well, still I tried to enjoy being a kid as much as I could. Hula hooping, woo, and jumping rope, and playing dodgeball with my best girlfriend, Katanya. Until my mama found out about our little secret. Whew. Child, she was furious at me. You little gals, you're too damn fast. You need to put some clothes on and stop trying to be grown. No soon as you get the smell of piss in your panties, you think you're all that. And you ruin everything. I wish I'd have flushed every single one of you down the toilet. And if you did it, if it's true, why didn't you come tell me? Why didn't you come tell me? Did she say if he did it? Did she really say if he did it? What kid makes this shit up, Mama? She knew it was true. She just didn't want to believe it because it broke the love spell. I became a ward of the state of Louisiana. And when I returned from the pure hell of foster care, the rose thief was still there. And nothing had changed. Nobody noticed any change. The only thing that had changed was me. All I had was hope, and all I had was prayer. Ooh, and I prayed, and I prayed, and I prayed. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Dear God, are you there? Dear God, are you there? It's me, Psst, Sharon. I know you're busy, but God, I was wondering, when are you gonna kill this nigga my mama in love with? I've been waiting and waiting. It's been 2 hours since my last confession. God, please help me. I need some help and I need some sleep. In Jesus' name, amen. Well, I prayed in vain. And every request, every wish was denied. Mama, can I get a guitar? No. Mama, you don't give me that piano you promised me? No. Mama, can I have voice lessons? No. Mama, can I go to Catholic school? No. But Mama, you sent my sisters, so? Mama, you think I could commit suicide? I'll think about it. I could take no more. It was time for me to go. Years of therapy helped me overcome my childhood traumas and how to hide the other ones. You do get over the pain, but it's the time that you can't recover to build and have new dreams and watch them come true. But you try, and you try, and you try, and you try. I lost my faith. I parted ways with God and religion. I decided I would be responsible for my future. All I wanted to be was a jazz singer, so I started my life over in Southern California, land of beaches and homeless and the famous and the Botoxed. And the slightly out of shape. I dreamed of getting an Emmy and a Grammy and an Oscar and of course a Tony. Never got the big breaks like some of the girls I knew. But it didn't matter. I always clapped for them because I always wanted people to be happy. And I wasn't the jealous type at all. Hell, I had my successes. Once, I was even a Jeopardy clue.
Easel styling performed. Sandra Booker, Nina Simone, and Esperanza Spalding are all sultry chanteuses of this four-letter musical genre. And?
What is scat?
Nope. Brian.
What is jazz?
Jazz. I see.
Not too shabby. I made plans, fabulous plans, to move to Paris, to live on the Seine, to open a traditional New Orleans jazz bistro serving filet gumbo, shrimp creole, and the hottest jazz in town. And I stopped lamenting the loss of my marriage and the loss of the miscarried baby. I married a good man, my ex-husband, wonderful person. He even put me through college after we were divorced. Who even does that? Wow. He was generous, he was always kind, he was always loving, but we just didn't have that connection. And it was time for me to move on and let him go because, well, he wanted a wife with a real job, and jazz was not a real job. But it was my destiny. And I was determined to make my dreams come true. Dreams are important. Well, got to California, got to LA, started doing my thing. And that was when tragedy struck again. I got hit by a city bus that ran a red light. I was nearly killed. My hip was broken, my ankle fractured, and my right arm was severed. The only reason I even went downtown that night was to collect a lousy frickin' $50 that they wouldn't mail me. Cause they said, we don't have stamps. Who in the hell in LA don't have stamps? One stamp, one lousy 40-cent stamp. And because they wouldn't spend that, this is what happened to me. And I started to wonder, why do you love this music thing so much? Why are you so addicted to music that it did this to you? But I survived. See, the thing is, I survived. I made it. And when I heard the paramedics say, she not gonna make it, I was like, oh, you're wrong. I'm gonna make it. And I made it. I survived. But I was angry. And I started to feel a bitterness and a frustration and a rage. And it felt foreign to me. Because for all the things that had happened to me, I never wanted to be a hateful person. I became villain instead of victim to my mother. Because I watched my mother become villain instead of victim to my father. I wanted to break that generational pattern. So I promised myself, Sandra, no matter what happens to you, Sharon, never let it make you hateful. As I recovered, I really wasn't in the mood for music for a little while, but I knew it would come back. I just wasn't sure when. But child, I found me something else to make me feel amazing. I indulged myself in my passion for dancing. Pole dancing. It made me feel strong. It made me feel sexy. And I started getting my body in fabulous shape. I took to it like a Pisces takes to Lake Pontchartrain. Now, it made some of my girlfriends a little green-eyed with jealousy. But child, it made all the boys want to come to my milkshake playground. And I was making some of the best milkshakes in town. Look at me go. I was proud of myself. I was fine. I was fit. And I was about to turn 40. And that's when something amazing happened. Something I never expected. The man that I had been secretly in love with for nearly 20 years came back into my life. We had parted sometime earlier. I tried to forgive the little goofy things he did, but what he didn't know was that he was the love of my life the moment we met. He played good guitar, and I dreamed of us being this amazing duo, traveling around the world, entertaining great audiences, and majorly entertaining each other. Whenever I was near him, it was like Chinese New Year's, on Mardi Gras Day, during Oktoberfest, and the Bayou Classic, and did I mention he was the love of my life? I never thought I would ever say that. And the only thing that made me feel slightly funny about it was, well, I had married a really good man, and even though I loved him, I didn't love him like this. It felt strange and alien and magical and beautiful, and I was willing to take the risk because I had waited so long. I hadn't even dated anybody in like, I don't know, 12 years. And suddenly he was there, and I wanted to kiss him and hold him and have him and give myself to him. And it all seemed so wonderful. He even promised me guitar lessons. So I went out and bought a capo, and I bought a strap, and I bought a 3/4 guitar, and I got myself some books. I was ready to roll. But then in the excitement of reunion, I forgot my mother's advice. My mother told me when my father died, and I left home when I was 19, she said, "Sharon, you're a pretty girl. You're smart. Thank you for not getting pregnant and embarrassing the family. Never love an addict, Sharon. Never love an addict. I've done it twice. Baby, never love an addict." I forgot that advice. See, he was in a 12-step program and he wanted to make amends. But the reality was he was an addict. And I was an addict material. And we know how it goes, right? So if you love a black man and it doesn't work out, well, you just ain't down for the struggle, and you's a hoe, and you's a gold digger, and you need to, blacken up. I'm the blackest black person if you've ever gonna meet. I'll put the black in black. But if he's white and it doesn't work out, well, that's what you get for fucking with that white boy. All I wanted was someone to love and someone to love me back. And what could be the worst thing that could happen? He's not really into black girls. I can handle that. He gets a new girlfriend. I can handle that. He finds a better singer than me. Good luck with that. It was time to part ways, to be grateful for the moments that we'd had. And there were some beautiful moments. But we agreed we're gonna be just friends, and that meant just friends without the benefits. But the benefits were spectacular. And breaking it off would be easier said than done, but that's what I had to do. The thing was, I stayed for the lesson. He asked me to stay. So that night I stayed. That night I stayed for the lesson. And what started out as the sweetest, most wonderful goodbye turned into a nightmare. He did the unimaginable. He did the inconceivable. He did the horrible thing. And suddenly, I was that same teenage girl again. And I couldn't scream, and I couldn't move, and I couldn't breathe, and I couldn't fight. All I could say was, please, no, not you, not you, not you. He didn't stop, and he didn't care. And I couldn't tell anybody. But I had to tell somebody. So the next morning, when he let me leave and tried to kiss me goodbye, I went home and I called my best girlfriend, Katanya. Hey girl, how was your night? Katanya, he did the most horrible things. And he said the most horrible things. Girl, you lying. I'm so sorry, Kat. I know this isn't what you want to hear. Girl, I'ma kill this nigga. It won't undo what he did to me, Kat. I took a shower that felt like a 5-hour shower. And as I stood there, I noticed little droplets of blood in the water. I knew what had happened to me. I couldn't go to the police because I had smoked a joint, I'd had a glass of wine, I was wearing makeup, I had on perfume, I had on pole dancing shorts. It was my fault, right? So I decided, I'm gonna take one for the team. I'm gonna get over this. I'm gonna move on and let it go. I still had concerts booked with him. We even recorded a record together because I was gonna show him that no matter what you did, I was gonna love myself and I could still love you too, but I couldn't. So I severed all ties with him. I spent 40 days in Paris, trying to ease the bite of it. It was the most miserable time I'd ever had, but I still got to sing at the Duc de Lamballe and the Sunside Sunset in Chez Papa, and I got to walk along the Seine and eat croissants and drink cafe. but I was breaking inside. I started recording again. I started singing again. I started dancing again. I sank myself in denial. He didn't do this. He couldn't be. Why would he do this to us? Why would you do this to me? And then there was the fawning. Maybe I got it wrong. It was just rough sex. And then I had to admit to myself what he had done. I had to face it. And I faced it head on. And just as I was starting to build myself up again and joy again and started hula hooping and jumping rope again, I started noticing those droplets of blood in my urine again. I couldn't understand why. Maybe something in my mind had triggered it. A biopsy confirmed that it was urothelial papillary carcinoma. What? Urothelial papillary carcinoma. Could you tell me that in English? Cancer. Cancer? How did I get cancer? But it was cancer. The first surgery was successful, but the cancer came back. The second surgery, they said it was successful, but the cancer came back. They put me on BCG treatments, but the cancer came back. And it was eating me up from the inside out the same way the horrible thing had been eating me up from the inside out, and I just couldn't pretend anymore. I finally told my ex-husband. I was so afraid he would be furious at me. I was so grateful that he wasn't. And he became my sword and shield, and with my best friend on this side and my ex-husband on that side, they became my anchors as I prepared to fight for my life. But you know what? I'm a survivor, and I'm gonna survive this. Until the doctors told me I only had a year to live. Because the cancer had come back. And I was exhausted. And I was tired of fighting. And I was so close to giving up. And then the man that I was in love with, who had done the horrible thing, suddenly he came back. But he didn't come back to apologize this time. He didn't come back to make an amends this time. He didn't even come back to give me the guitar lessons that he had promised me. He came back to tell me that his married ex-girlfriend had dumped him. As if this was my problem. As if I was supposed to care. As if I was so devoid of being human to him that this was my concern, that all of a sudden, all of that rage and that anger that I had felt for so many years and had suppressed, that was eating me up alive, bounced out of me. And I became a super bitch. I found my inner warrior. I wanted to be the villain instead of the victim. So I found his married ex-girlfriend and I told her everything. And I went to the school where he worked and reported him. And the Pasadena Conservatory of Music fired him, honey. And I filed another police report. And this time, I brought the receipts. Oh, baby, yes, I did. And they went and picked him up.
Yes.
Was this justice? Or was this revenge? Did it matter? Not to me. Finally, I felt vindicated. But there is a penalty to pay when you speak the truth. There is a penalty to pay when a woman steps forward and says, "You did this to me." There is a penalty to pay when she says, "I will not be silenced. You will not make me live in shame, and I will not bear the burden of your crime." That penalty came in the form of the friends that I turned to, thinking they would rally around me. He had already warned me. your friends are my friends. The We Spark Cancer Support Center, where I had been going to get treatment, where I first had the guts to tell another living being what had happened to me after I had helped them raise $70,000 to help fellow cancer survivors. They said to me, "Miss Booker, we regret to inform you that we believe your rape is your primary trauma, not your cancer. And for that, you are no longer allowed to come and have services here. You have made your rape a legal matter, and we simply can't provide you services anymore." And then there was those friends that said, "Well, girl, if he really did that, why didn't you go to the police immediately?" And then there were the friends who said, "If he really did that, why did you still have communication with him? And if he really did that, well, you don't really seem like you that afraid of him. Besides, what's a little rape between friends?"
Oh, God.
I severed ties with everyone. I was shunned. I was blackballed. Not a single jazz venue in the city of Los Angeles would hire me anymore. And it started to spread. The rumors, the gaslighting. This bitch is crazy. She always talking crazy. She always angry. She always bitter. As if being raped wouldn't make you crazy. As if being sexually assaulted wouldn't make you bitter. As if being shunned by the people you trusted and loved wouldn't make you angry. It made me all of those things. And then it made me something else. It humbled me. And the hurt of all of it made me love myself more than I had ever loved myself before. And when the doctor said to me, "You only have a year to live," living became the most important thing ever to me. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed sticking it to him. But it was time to retract my thorns. Still, I was the evil one. I was the evil one. They said, "She can be evil. She can be evil. She can be evil." I was the Black Medusa. And I loved it. She can be evil. Eyes as warm as a child. She is wicked but wild. She can be evil. Pretty face, pretty lies drive you out of your mind. Her smile is designed to disguise the danger hidden in her eyes. You'd be wise to turn and run away. Her voodoo is pure, there's no cure, and she will never compromise once you're under her spell. You'll wish you were in hell. There's no retrieval. What's hers is hers alone. You'll be hers to the bone. She can be evil. I know whereof I speak. She can be evil. demise. She can be evil, charm you, then dismiss you, kill as soon as kiss you. Ooh, her smile is designed to disguise the danger hidden in her eyes. You'd be very wise to turn and run away. Her voodoo is pure, there's no cure, and she will never compromise when you're under her spell. You'll wish you were in hell. There's no retrieval. What's hers is hers alone. You'll be hers to the bone. She can be evil. I know whereof I speak. She can be evil. Like me, poor fool. Every war must end. And it was time to end the War of the Roses. I forgave myself for loving, and I forgave all those people that had hurt me. The long list was much shorter now, and the future, even if short itself, would be brighter and bigger and better than it ever been before. And I made new plans to go to Paris. And I made new plans to sing and dance. And I started playing the guitar, and I started playing the upright bass, and I started learning to cook again, and dance again, and laugh again. And I spoke to the universe. And I said, if there's time, let me love again. And send someone to love me. And I found joy again. Because joy is something we create within ourselves. And for the first time in my whole life, I now understood why the most beautiful roses with the sweetest perfume and the softest petals have the largest, thickest thorns. My name is Sharon Brooks, and I am a rose. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That's very kind. Thank you so very much. Thank you. Thank you very, very much for being